We can tell that human beings and ravens have a long history together by examining the origin of the bird's name. Raven is one of the oldest of all the names we use for birds, having first come into use long before the birth of Christ. The word goes back to at least the middle of the first millennium BC, to Proto-Germanic, an early branch of the Indo-European family tree of languages, and almost certainly much further than that. We know this because, as with a handful of other bird names such as swallow and swan, the word for the raven is more or less the same in all the Scandinavian and Germanic languages, including English. Therefore, we can reasonably deduce that they all derive from the same original root, based, of course, on a humanised version of the bird's call. The word used in Icelandic to this day, hravan, with the F pronounced as V, is likely to be the closest modern equivalent to the name uttered by our prehistoric ancestors as they gazed up into a cold grey sky and attempted to mimic the sound of this remarkable bird. Ravens would have regularly followed human hunters, just as they would have tracked other large predators in order to feed on the remains of their kills. But this was not a purely one-way transaction. In return, ravens would, as we have seen, alert humans and other mammalian predators to the presence of their victims. This early, semi-symbiotic relationship with humans goes a long way to explaining why ravens feature so prominently in the mythologies of so many early cultures. Indeed, of all the world's birds, the raven is the one most central to the origin stories of ancient civilizations. Right across the Northern Hemisphere, from Alaska to Japan, via Britain and Ireland, Scandinavia and Siberia, and the Middle East, the raven is not only the primary bird of myth and legend, it is also, in most cultures, the very first bird to be thus mythologized. Many other birds have significant roles in global mythology. These include owls, noted for their supposed wisdom, cranes and peacocks, long recognised for their intricate courtship dances, especially in parts of Asia. The sacred ibis, linked to the religions of ancient Egypt. Eagles, which represent strength and power, see Chapter 8. And the resplendent quetzal, one of the world's most beautiful and sought-after birds, which played a key role in the pre-Columbian cultures of Central America. But, significant though these all are, none have quite the same importance, geographical scope, or historical longevity as our relationship with the raven. Ravens also have a long and distinguished history as portentous messengers. This goes back at least as far as ancient Greece, where Apollo, the god of prophecy, used them to deliver messages, although, as we shall see in other contexts, the birds were not always very reliable. One of the best-known bird legends of all has it that if the resident ravens at the Tower of London ever leave, the United Kingdom and its monarchy will fall. And in case you imagine that in the modern world the raven no longer has such a hold on our beliefs and cultures, consider this. When the American author George R.R. Martin came to choose a bird to symbolise the power of prophecy and take messages like a supercharged carrier pigeon in his novels and later the TV series A Game of Thrones, there was only one possible contender: the raven.